Anybody who wishes to speak will be given that opportunity. Follow-up is also always available because it is being conducted and filmed for posterity and history. And we can begin. First thing, discussion, Bellevue Road. I do have a little bit of updated information. The brother has been granted permanent, I'm going to use the word conservatorship, but he's in charge of the brother's finances and whatever else is involved there. He has been looking to find a place for the brother to reside other than the home next door. He's finding it to be very expensive. Did not get into the financials with him. It's not really our business.
No.
But he is looking, and he is slowly working at cleaning up the condemned property. Doing it by himself, a little bit at a time. I don't think we really have any say in that. I might be wrong with that. Bill, if you know otherwise, please let me know. But no non-family members or outsiders are being exposed to anything. So I'm not sure that there's an issue there, and is doing it a little bit at a time. I'm sure they'll come to a point where he's got to bring in some outside, at least disposal operators to deal with some of the material in there, but I don't know that for a fact. I mean, we were only able to look through the window, so I can only imagine. So that's the latest and greatest that I have on Bellevue. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, or otherwise on
Well,
this?
that's just the idea that you got the cars out of there in case there is some type of electrical or something. I think that was a major milestone too.
Well, absolutely. At least now fire and or police can get access to the physical property, which is kind of key.
Yeah, any progress is good progress there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little bit at a time, progress is progress.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's kind of a standalone situation. There are no, it's not like anything resembling what's recently transpired in California, where, everybody next door to everybody is subject to hell and back. Sue, yes.
What happens if they get it all cleaned out and everything? Do we remove the condemnation order?
We have to re-inspect, confirm that it meets current housing code requirements, and then in writing, we would lift condemnation and allow reoccupancy.
Okay, I was just curious.
That kind of brings in the building inspector, maybe plumbing and all that
No,
type of
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, I would certainly think so because, a situation like this, you got all the surface stuff, but then I think, you're dealing with whatever's gotten embedded in the sheetrock and so forth,
Oh, boy.
at the very least, it would be clean it out back to the studs. And then there's still a question mark, and that's where the building inspector and so forth would come into play.
So none of that will happen until after I am long gone. Okay.
We don't know that.
We might bring you
back.
back as a special special envoy, Sue.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want you to miss out on all the fun that we have.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, I may just ask to be on the list for your meetings and I'll just tune in.
Anyone in mind for replacement?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
John
neighbor.
Schuclear, I think it's going to run for Board of Health. I don't know where he is tonight, but I will be calling him after this meeting.
Great.
Yeah, and the whole thing of taking out papers, none of that's happened yet. So,
No.
who knows, maybe someone else will raise their hand, but, with the history in this town, I don't expect to be a flurry of, wannabes. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Permits, 11 Maynard Road, D-Box.
Yeah, that's a D-box replacement triggered by a Title V inspection that's on the agenda tonight. That's a
Has that
conditional
happened,
pass.
Bill, or
What's that?
has that actually happened, the replacement?
No,
or-
actually, usually it's happened quickly, but this one, it's taking some time, but they're pulling the permit. They'll get the work done.
Oh, okay, okay. 126 Lyman Road.
Sue, did you get a plan by chance on that one?
I did. Hold on.
I was talking to Paul Wheeler and he said there's already a foot of frost, believe it
Oh,
or
yeah.
not.
Oh, yeah, it
already.
happened fast. Yep.
Yeah,
Well, there's been no snow cover, so this cold
Nobody-
snap has just been able to
Exactly.
penetrate.
yep.
Yeah, this cold tests car batteries in the morning and sewer lines that run under the driveways.
There you go.
I can explain what's being proposed at 126 Lyman Road.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a proposed additional dwelling unit. People bought this property. There's an existing garage / barn detached on the property. And they're actually increasing the size of their system to go from 4 bedrooms to 5, and also adding a tank and pump chamber to service the detached unit, and that will pump to the existing system. And they'll be adding a trench to the system for the additional flow.
And be using the same well, correct, Billy?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This is what I got.
Okay, let's get out the magnifying glass.
Yeah, really.
I'm trying to figure out how to make it bigger.
It's
Oh, so
starting,
we just like to bust you. I
Yeah.
couldn't do this.
I. So we need it.
Oh, it's getting there.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh,
getting
there's
bigger.
one.
I was really hoping the engineer would join us so that I could,
Who is the engineer?
This is Jack Maloney at Dillis
Oh,
and Roy.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he brings the nice color plans in.
Yes.
all right, so what part of this?
If you can scroll, I guess to your left, so we're bringing in the center of the plan. Nope, up, go up. Yeah, then is there any way to scroll to the left? We want to see the, there you go. Well, up other way.
Sometimes I really hate this.
Doing pretty good.
There it is.
Oh, that's not bad right there. Oh, center that.
So what do you want to know?
Well, we need to see a little more of the plan, so we're scrolling to the left if possible.
I'm trying to do the 2-finger job.
Nope, other way. Little more, little more. Okay, that's it.
You got it.
Okay, so the large rectangle upper left existing home, you can see it goes gravity to an existing 1,500 gallon tank and then feeds 4 trenches. So again, it's a 4-bedroom home. In theory, 1 bedroom per trench based on the math. And then in the lower right, you see that existing barn / garage. That would become a 1-bedroom detached unit. And you can see there's a 1,500 gallon tank and a 1,000 gallon pump chamber serving that unit. That will then pump to the D box, which will feed what will become a 5 trench system. So they're adding a tank, a pump chamber, and a trench so that the system can handle the total of 5 bedrooms.
Okay. This is on the left side or the right side of Lime?
It's
Going out.
if you're heading towards Northborough on the left, it's 2, I think it's 2 past Priest Road.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, Simonian was at 120. We just did a D box there. We're meeting or 2 ago, and this will be the next house, one of Oberg's lots.
Okay, it's over again. All right. Yep. Or was, yep. Oh,
Yep.
So.
So
good
straightforward, no variances.
Good perks. Yeah.
And we will be seeing more of these, I'm sure.
Yes. And now, if we're okay with it, it's up to the building inspector from there on, right, Billy, for whatever it is, size.
Well, if the
or
board's set
whatever.
with this plan, I'll draft a permit, sign it for the board, and then yes, they would be pulling a building permit through Viewpoint. Obviously, I can take care of that now that this is approved, but I don't think they've actually applied for a building permit yet.
Bill, you've seen the full-size plan on this?
Yeah, I have it with me. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to
okay.
view it, I've always got a copy with me. Yep.
Okay, because what I was getting on my screen was very faint. I couldn't really read anything. I could just see lines. So as long as you've looked at it and are comfortable, that's
Yep.
fine.
Like I say, this was a system approved. Let's see what the. I don't have that file with me. Say this was done in the 90s. It passed the Title V inspection when these folks bought it, say within the last 6 months. And again, they've planned to add that out detached unit. So they'll be adding a trench to that existing system.
Okay. Is this our first ADU?
Well, it's the first under the new law. You know, in the
Under the
past,
new
we've
law.
done them. And like I say, Berlin has been doing it correctly as long as I can remember. So it's
Right.
what we've been doing in the past is actually what's required now. So, you know, nothing's changing on our end because we're requiring what we've always required, a separate tank or a 2-compartment tank, and normally a deed restriction, which again, this would be part of that permit sign off would be a deed restriction.
Is there or do we have any sort of and you may have this internally, Bill, just kind of a punch list for anything involving ADUs, the different things that need to be addressed?
Not specifically a checklist, but again, to fall back to Title V, it triggers again the full room count, which may need a deed restriction. And again, once something is other than a single family dwelling, so whether it's a additional living unit within an existing home or a detached unit, that triggers the need for the tank.
Okay.
So that's kind of the standard answer. You know,
Okay.
without looking at the details of the project, more than likely any ADU is going to need a deed restriction and a tank upgrade. But again, it's case by case, but you know, 80-90% of them are going to trigger both.
Okay.
Billy, just a quick question. Are you allowed, or we haven't got into it yet, are you allowed to put a whole separate system on a property just to service the, like, ADU or?
You can, it gets a little grayer there though. At minimum, the existing house that's on the lot already has to pass a Title V inspection.
Yeah.
You have to make
right.
sure it has a reserve area, but then
Yeah.
you could put in a fully compliant system for just the ADU. I mean, I think the ultimate goal would be to have both dwellings, if you will, on one system. But if that other system passes a Title V, I think it's respected.
Yeah, okay.
And you could
That's just
put in a system for just that unit.
Yeah, okay.
But for simplicity's sake and long-term maintenance and paying attention, ADU being tied into the existing system really does make the most sense. Just keeps it simple for everybody.
It does, because then you got one system to monitor. And
Right,
if that
right,
fails,
right.
you're looking at an upgrade to handle the total flow that's on the site.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, 100 River Road septic system.
Again, that one will bump to next. I haven't got in touch with the engineer.
Okay.
That's just to let you know, that's the old Spooky World site.
Ah,
And
Oh, yeah.
They're renovating that old, the older home there, the brick home. So they're putting in a new system to handle that, and I think like a storage type warehouse on the property also.
They've done a lot of work down
With a
there already.
museum yet to come.
What's that?
With a museum yet to come.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That was the proposal, but I haven't heard anything about it for quite a few years.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Hmm.
Well, I know there's a water situation that he's waiting
Right.
for resolution to, because he needs to be able to tap into public water.
Well, that was going to be one of my comments, I guess, if it goes that route, because again, if you've got a building open to the public, depending on how often it's open, you would trigger the public water supply, correct? In
Right.
fact, that's part of my comment to the engineer on this 100, because the whole site, you have to look at the whole site. What is it going to ultimately be as far as use?
What's the
Right.
who's the engineer that's handling that at this point? You know?
This is Hancock Associates.
Okay. Hancock, we've dealt with them before, haven't we?
Occasionally, they did one for Craig Wimble on Gates Pond Road. Yeah, they've done a couple in town. Not a common engineer, but they do work in the area.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Title 5 inspection reports, 11 Maynard Road.
Yep. So that is a conditional pass requiring a D box, and that is that permit we had above.
Okay. And wow, it's the end of the list.
Yeah,
Relatively
but I
short.
have a question. In
Fire
some
away.
of the stuff that comes through Board of Health, I saw a reference to the, I think it was lead in the water at Berlin Memorial.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Bill's
That's-
just staring at me.
That starts with
Well,
the-
no, I was just thinking of a good answer. The state has a lead copper program, and obviously schools is a major focus of that. So again, it's a public water supply well. It's under DEP's jurisdiction. So if there's issues with that quality, it would be dealt with by the state.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's DEP and the
Yep.
school committee at this point.
Correct.
Is all this shit floating around in my head? I'm sorry.
Wow, wow.
Cute,
Where's
right?
the-
We're
where's
gonna
the-
get censored now.
Yeah, where's the bleep button?
Yeah, some nights you wouldn't hear anything then.
Oh, goodness.
I don't have anything specific, anything additional specific to Board of Health things. Does anybody else? I do have
Just that meeting on Friday, Paul, is that a Zoom or,
no, that's in person.
okay, down at the office? At
Yep,
what time?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock in the morning, okay.
You should have gotten that, the notice.
Yeah,
Two of
I
them
probably
together.
have it.
Okay,
I
Yeah,
just
conference
went
room
back far enough.
218.
okay. I do have a bill to be signed when you guys come in on Friday. It's just on
Okay.
the back desk.
Did
Okay.
the BP bill ever come in, Donna?
Yes, he emailed it to me.
Okay.
Did I
Has
not?
that been processed or does that need to be signed?
That one was processed, I think, right when I got back from vacation.
24.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just remember you were waiting for it and it was like the
Right.
7th or 8th and it hadn't come in yet, which is a little unusual. so-
yeah, it
Yeah.
happens usually once in a blue moon, and I emailed him and then I got it.
All that miscellaneous Board of Health stuff floating around in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want, if that's in the file, I want to take a look because new rates were supposed to take effect and I want to see that they did.
Okay, well, that was the December bill.
Oh, that's right. The
Yeah, 'cause
rates
it's-
wouldn't, no, the rates wouldn't
Yeah.
have changed for that. That's right. It's the December bill that came
Right,
in.
it's the next
All right.
one that comes
It's the
in.
next one we have to take a look at.
Yep, yep.
Something, we're going to start to investigate this pay as you throw. And it's got me thinking, Stan and I are pretty sure, Stan more than I, because he sees it, that we do have some participants at the transfer station that are bringing in more than one household on one sticker. When you see pickup truck loads full of bags come in, kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah.
And Sue, while we still got you and you were able to squeeze nickels like you do, one of the things I'm wondering, and tell me if this is too much work, but we're, encountering some expenses that we hadn't anticipated. Certainly, one major one being the DEP third-party inspection of transfer station. I broached the subject with the select board and capital planning about the landfill one, because that one will blossom into more money besides what the engineering firm wants, because there'll be test wells, monitoring wells,
Who knows?
maybe some tree cutting. It starts to unravel a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I watched that meeting, Paul. You did a good presentation.
what I'm wondering is how difficult is it to get a handle on a monthly basis of where our budget is. Um, what what is motivating that is a couple things I've just mentioned, but then I was thinking today about stickers and about people who are piggybacking, and I'm just throwing this out for people to think about. It occurred to me that one approach might be, and I don't know if it's a good approach or not, but I want people to think about it, is that, in the past, we've announced when transfer station sticker applications are available and all that. And I was wondering about actually mailing them directly to each household. Kind of lighten the fire a little bit. Now, I certainly know there's a mailing cost, which I don't know, maybe it's $1,500 or $1,200. I don't know, but it's one possible approach to flush out a little more users of the transfer station to be legitimate. And on the flip side, it could increase our revenues down there. It will also, if more people take stickers, it'll probably also increase the amount of material we have to handle, which will impact our budget. But in the interest of trying to level the playing field for residents, what can we do to help make that happen?
Well, I'm gonna kind of shoot holes in mailing them out to each resident because a lot of residents use PO boxes.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, we have a list of everybody who's purchased one this year. And we could send those out. But we have to have the address, the name and the address in order to actually mail one. And a lot of people,
We do have street listings.
Well, what about, they were doing this in Stowe, it's through the post office, they send it to the postal patrons.
yes,
Okay.
And that could even pick up some apartments too, which may not be necessary, but it should
right,
hit PO
because you got
boxes.
blocks of places like Brook
Taxes.
Village and Brook Lane and
Yeah, that's
all the people in Rockwell, and so you
Right.
wouldn't really want to mail
okay,
that to them.
right.
But a lot of that can be culled out from a list. Because we have listings of everybody that lives at Brook Lane. We don't have listings for
But
the
you also
Rockwell.
have private haulers coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say so.
Uh,
So why are we spending money mailing an application, to them?
How many private haulers do you think we have? I don't think it's a big number.
hmm.
but they could have,
I don't see a lot of truck traffic that would represent a big number of private haulers. And I may be wrong there. I'm just saying, I'm wanting to look under stones. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem
Right.
with problems being thrown back at this idea, but I'm thinking we really should think about it and talk about it.
I'm not,
And, it may go nowhere and that's fine, but if we don't
Yeah, I'd have
explore
to-
it, shame on us.
I would have to think about how that would increase our revenue. To answer your question, though, we've brought in, I think it was 148,000 year to date on stickers and fees. And we've spent about 73,000 and we had 73,000 in expenses. Donna, does that sound right?
The expenses, I don't know off the top of my head.
But I looked at it last week, Paul,
Okay.
because you wanted to buy a heater.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure I had the money to pay for the heater.
And we-
Along with the 5,000 I said you could spend for the landfill
Yeah.
Hmm.
The transfer station. Yeah.
transfer station, so. And really, you take a look at the revenues and you take a look at the expense. Both of those are tracked weekly.
Okay.
And it's no big deal to turn around and look at that.
Right.
Okay. I think if it isn't, then end of the month or beginning of the month summary, just what's left in terms of I'll call it flexible spending. We know
I
we're
don't
gonna.
like to tell you that. Then you think you have all this money you can go spend.
God.
Okay, well then how can I plan?
Oh,
You're
goodness.
like, yeah, money.
Well, you tell me how I can plan without knowing
Yeah.
those numbers, and I'll go with you.
Yeah. I don't know how long ago it has been since they've updated the street listing too, Paul. I was hoping they would update it.
It is
because-
updated. You can't, updated ones are available.
Are they? Oh, good. Because I had the
Yeah,
latest one.
that's not a mystery. And there are errors with it because I got a recent one and there was a
Yep.
person on there who I know is deceased, and I let the town clerk know
Right.
that so they could correct
Yeah.
it. I mean, there's
Sure.
no real exact science. I think I know some people living in town that aren't on that list who live in
Yeah.
these little tucked away apartments or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
Berlin is still old Berlin in
Berlin.
many ways,
Yeah.
not right or wrong, just what is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we used to call them in-law apartments, and now they allow, as you say, the UADs or attached, and it doesn't. We're coming out of the dark ages on it, so we might as well do it on everything.
so anyhow, that's just, food for thought. Just
Yeah.
again, trying to stir the pot relative to transfer station stickers and all that. No sacred cows, but I'm just trying to tickle
Right.
everybody's brain to think about
Right.
these things.
Well, I totally
Because,
agree.
we fall into status quo very easily,
Right.
and things
Well,
are
my daughter-
changing out there.
My daughter, she's got, a sticker on, she's got 2 vehicles, she got a sticker on each. She brings down one little white bag, at the most, it might be 2 weeks because she's working so much. And then, like you say, you see them going by in small dump trucks full, and, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Yeah, it might be much ado about nothing, but again, it's just, you just can't sit
Tonnage.
back on your backside and rest on the way things have always been because everything's changing all the time. And if we
Yeah.
don't, if we don't acknowledge that and try and address it, then shame on us. Anyway, that's all I have. So, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion. Billy, are you all set?
Well, yeah, just a couple of things on what Paul was saying. I think it would be easy to pull out those larger projects because they have certain street names, so you wouldn't be mailing to the apartments or Brook Lane or whatever it is. And as far as private haulers go, when I'm driving through town, it's rare that I see a tote out at the curbside. Like in other towns, I see that don't have transfer stations. So there's probably not a whole lot of private haulers, I would think.
Right.
In Berlin, Bolton currently does do pay as you throw, and actually Westford is kind of looking at revamping their waste disposal system the same way, so that if you're putting out the normal amount of trash, if you will, for a family of four, let's say, but putting more out, then you start to pay. So there's that way to kind of curb the abuse of the system.
I was on the
Yeah.
I was on the Westford site earlier today, and I don't know when it was updated, but it's kind of involved, the information they put out there.
Well,
I'm going,
I innocently took a survey, and it turned into be about a half hour of my life I'll never get back. But again, I think it makes sense, because why should people pay a lot versus those that aren't really throwing a whole lot out? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Right.
Paul, did you ever make it to Westford for that concert? I always forget to ask you when I see you.
I did not. I did
Oh.
not. And I keep looking. One of these days I will go there. Just trying to cue it up with the right type of entertainment for myself.
Yep.
Perfect.
All
The
right.
one that I
Thank
was
you.
interested in, I got a little spooked because it sounded like it was going to be a lot of heavy brass, and in a church hall, I was, just wondering about the acoustics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll second that motion, Susan, or anybody.
All right, all in favor?
I,
Bobby? Sue?
All right.
Bobby? Aye. All right. I as well from my end. So this meeting of the Board of Health, January 21st, is now officially adjourned.